Alright guys, so we did like I think it was 30 pug runs, and this is just me talking over one of them. I basically invited anyone who wanted to join in for this run, and so you're going to see some people doing the mechanics wrong, like we explained in the strat guide for this boss. Do not go up in phase 1, because the boss is kind of bugged, and since we have a lot of time to talk about this, I can actually explain what it is. If you pay attention to this marker, I'm gonna try to also link it in the video. Over here where you can see the boss casting Smoldering Devastation, she has an energy bar, and every time that is depleted, then she casts like Smoldering Devastation. And so the idea here is that it should take her like 30 seconds or more, but if you look at, pay attention to the energy right now, like you can see how it's declining rapidly. That's because we allowed a drone to go up, so it will just like deplete the energy instantly. And so this phase will only last like 58 seconds, but some people thought it would be fun to like stun the drone and so on, so it wouldn't come up. So I'm just gonna taunt it now so it doesn't actually kill anyone, and then I'm gonna try to override threat on the boss as well. Here we lost, and now we burst. Just check out what the burst is sort of like right now. I'm gonna reset the meter just to get a snap effect of how much burst is going out. This will also allow me to like pay attention to how fast we are on killing the bosses. And I don't actually have my calculator with me, but if you give me 1 second, I can also do some math, so we can check out how fast we would be able to kill them. Also, you can see it on my screen. It's called Beth'tilac, and then you see the timer like 5 seconds, then 4 seconds, then 3 seconds, 2, 1, and dead. So let's say you're doing a boss fight, and the timer will say there is like 1 minute left until the boss is dead, and you still haven't lost it yet. Then obviously you want to lost, because otherwise you're sort of wasting it. I'm just gonna skip forward now to Baleroc. And here we just on pull, we just go for it. Everyone bursts right at the start, and since I'm using my mouse micro to also click with, because as a protection paladin you really want to be bursting a lot. Pay attention to the lucid dreams and how the holy power is getting spended. Sometimes you can see it proc over and over and over and over and over again. Plus you also get Grand Crusader, which allows you to use judgments. So this allows you to do a really big burst. If you have a good parse, you can go up to like 10k. I've had parses even higher than that, but like that is usually where you want to be sitting at when you do your burst. If you commit all the cooldowns and so on. I didn't commit everything here because I didn't really want to risk a wipe, because we do have Pugs, so you also have to play it a little bit safe. I think yeah, the last is over now, so we still have some time left to go on the boss. The estimated time right now is around 35 seconds. Yeah, so here we just ride it out, and about a funny fact about this boss is that the boss is doing something called Decimation Blade, and that usually wreaks havoc on your tank. And so what you want for this particular part of Decimation Blade is to have a melee DPS taunting, because they actually won't get killed by Decimation Blade, because it's scripted incorrectly. I will cover that in my raid guide for this. So yeah, people, they just do the mechanic, and we'll try to survive it for as long as we can until the boss is dead. For this boss, Alysrazor, I think we went with one tank, but something fucked up here, where the Pugs were, I don't want to like point fingers at them, but at some point there's gonna land 2 eggs, and these 2 eggs will spawn some hatchlings. And when the hatchlings they spawn, then it takes like 2 or 3 seconds. You're going to see that very soon. But during that time, when they will do the imprint on a tank or whoever is closest, then you can't get rid of them unless you pick up the feathers that you can watch me clicking like sporadically. I'm just trying to see if I can get a feather or 2. 3 would be optimal, because that will allow me to go up and get some haste buffs. But I will also in the raid guide cover what exactly to do upstairs, so in case there is another time walking event for Firelands before the next patch, then you will be able to like within a minute or 2 understand the entire mechanics of the fights. But I haven't really prepared anything for that, so I'm just gonna talk over like what exactly is going on. You can see that I'm placing myself in the middle of the 2 eggs, and that's because when they spawn now, then they will imprint on me. And so I think now I'm just gonna try to like burst it down, one of them, and I will just like quickly reset the meter so you can also like see just how much damage you can do to these. I think I'm gonna reset, yeah, so we have a reset, and then I'm just gonna burst. So you see like 142k damage per second or something. Like, it's crazy how much you can do as a twink. And then I'm gonna have to stop my DPS now, because otherwise I'll kill both. And the reason why you don't want to kill both instantly is because at some point very soon, I'm probably also going to write in the raid warnings, please do not DPS the voracious hatchlings. But basically, you want them to consume something called a plump lava worm. And the plump lava worm, nice, the neighbor is gonna start. Okay, never mind. So you have the plump lava worms. There are 4 spawning right now, right? And so basically you want to take your bird and run it over the plump lava worm. Then it will consume it, and this will stop the plump lava worm from spewing fire. This will also make it much easier for the DPS to then just like chill and kill the small druid. You can see them killing a druid right now to the right of me. And everyone else should just like take as many feathers as possible and then get upstairs, like get airborne. Wow, this is annoying. I think we can just fast forward to when we kill the boss, because this is basically all we did here. Some of the new ones, I gave them a marker, so to make it easier for like a healer or DPS that I was afraid would maybe take aggro from the hatchling. And so basically they would just like stay on the marker until this phase would begin, then they would be free to move around as they would see fit. So for this phase, if you can manage to do so, then try to run through the rings. If you look to the right of the screen, right next to the boss name, you will see a small buff, and I can't really see from here because of the way that my recording device is working. But I think I have like 7 or 8 stacks now. And for each stack that you get, I think you get like 3% haste, or else it's like 8% haste. It's really good. Like if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says that I have 280% haste. So if you look at the Hammer of Wrath cast time, 2.1 seconds cast time right now. And so basically you're just like spamming judgments and Hammer of Wrath to the boss, and you just want to kill the boss as fast as possible. And I think the boss is gonna die in like, yeah, it's gonna die now. So basically it just died. Normally you want to do this boss with Shannox, because if you do the boss with Shannox, you can have your flyers that is getting the buff from flying through the rings to like kill Shannox really fast. And this will also give you a chance to like recast hero over and over, or as many times as you can kill a boss basically. And since Shannox, he can walk across the entire map without resetting, and that is a perfect option for you to make use of that. Here we had a lot of pugs, so I wanted to make sure that everyone stacked on star as indicated in the raid guide as well. And so basically all we do here is just have a few people steering the boss. So right now I'm hitting the right foot, I guess, and I'm just trying to slowly turn the boss so that he can hit the volcano, and it just got ignited. This means that the boss's stacks will get ticked off every time he walks over an ignited volcano. And yeah, one guy, he wanted to also try and steer. He's called Overtakers, a really nice dude, and we actually have footage where he then afterwards, when we did more runs, he actually started to steer the boss as well. So it's a great opportunity if you want to learn the fight, to just like basically watch this or the strat guide and then give it a try yourself, because the worst thing that can happen is that you kill the boss slower. But if you like watch the guide, you will most certainly learn exactly what to do. Pay attention to the stacks here. You can see that they dropped again. He starts at 80 and then he just drops his stacks by 16 each time he walks over an ignited volcano. And so there is not much math to it. You just walk over 5 and he has 0. However, the DPS requirement for bursting him down in like 20 seconds is something like 8,300 damage per second from a raid comp with like 2 healers and 1 tank. And if you're in a 10-man group, which is much smaller than what we have, then you could probably go with 1 tank and 0 healers and 9 DPS. This is for the fastest runs if you just want to do it in like 6 minutes or something, like the entirety of Firelands. I also have footage of something like that, of that nature, so I can also link to something like that. But basically he is now at 32 stacks, meaning 2 more ignited volcanoes, and we can blast him out of the sky. You can see that he has, I think it's, I really can't see, so I'm gonna have to move away from the microphone for just a second. So he has like, what is it, a bit more than 500,000 HP left. So if I type in my calculator 500,000 or 500 times 10 to the power of 3, and let's say he has 0 stacks, that's fine. So we say times how many DPSs do we have, we can just count it. We have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So 19 DPS plus me as a tank. Now I'm a DPS, so that would be 20. So let's just say 20 DPS. So we say 1 over 20. And then we close that off and we divide it with, let's say we want to kill the boss in 20 seconds. Then each DPS will have to produce 1250 damage per second. If you pay attention to the shaman, he's called Faco. So now we can agree that that's the shaman that I'm talking about. We have 3 in the raid as far as I can see, but just pay attention to him. So what you can see is here that now we're just going to ignore all the mechanics. I'm going to use my burst and everyone else is going to use the burst, so we can also take some damage without actually dying. Some people might actually die to this, but yeah. So they were supposed to lose now. I don't know why they didn't do it, but they will have to do it very soon, otherwise some people will die. We were lucky there. Someone was really nice to use a Spirit Link Totem, but now you can see the HP, how it just drops if you look at the percentage up in your left hand corner at the left foot. You can just see how it drops. And how long does it take before he then transitions? He should do it 25%, a little bit later. And then he's gonna come up and do a stomp, I guess. But we kill him so fast that not even the stomp is gonna happen. And this is with a Pug. So the only thing you really have to be worried about is getting off the stacks. If you can have one guy controlling the boss and everyone else just chills, then as soon as the debuffs are off, then even a tank can do 5 times as much damage that is required to kill the boss in like 20 seconds. Okay, so this pull is more for a show off, because we just like to maybe run it a bit risky and pull absolutely everything. So the entirety of Firelands, I think we did it in like 3 pulls. Here we pull everything together and then we just lust and kill it all, because it's more fun, I guess. And yeah, everything should be dead within 3, 2, 1, and it's gone. Yep, and we have some ads in the back. It doesn't really matter. It takes the boss around 2 minutes and 14 seconds to rotate the entire way back to us. So here we just call a coffee break. People go and get some water or whatever they need. It gives people a chance to like, you know, collect themselves. And you can see how the timer is almost perfectly ready now for the boss when he comes. And then normally you would lust here, but because we lusted on the trash, we don't have it. However, Shannox doesn't really have that much HP. Let me just move away from the microphone again to check the HP. Take it at 1 million for that face value. Then we can plug that into our calculator again. Now, a tank is always going to do the required DPS regardless. If you are twinking, of course. So let's say 1 million, that would be 1000 to the power of, let me go and check this, 1000 to the power of, or times 10 to the power of 3. And let's see, within 20 seconds, how long would it then, or how much damage would then be required? We would have to do 2500 damage per second to kill the boss in 20 seconds. If the boss were at 1 million HP. Definitely doable to kill the bosses really quick. You can go to the Timewalking Discord and check out the raid logs to see what kill timers look like if you have like a twink team. I can link to the Discord right here. And so you can see that like if people are trying to like gear pretty well for it, then the bosses die in like 8 or 12 seconds if everyone is really optimized. Right, so for this boss, it's Majordomo. He has 2 faces, one kitty face and one scorpion face. In the kitty face, he's gonna do a leaping flames to a random target. This is usually a range class, not usually, it is a range class or a healer. So you need all the healers and range classes to go away from the middle or the center of where the melees are standing right now. And this is why I've marked the entire circle, so that the range classes and healers, they know where to stand. At some point I'm gonna say move to square, yeah, you can see it. And so basically, everyone runs in now. I'm gonna spam this a lot because you can see the hunter over there. It took him a long time to get in. And every time the energy bar goes to full, if he's in kitty face, he's gonna jump. This means that there is a high probability, if not everyone is stacking up fast, that the boss will then jump where everyone is actually standing because people are too slow. So you need to have that macro. All you do is type /RV for raid warning, and then you say stack or move to square or stack on tank, something like that, that makes it easy to understand. Don't overcomplicate it, just make it stack on tank or spread. That's your command. Alright, and let's see. So Flamescythe is going to come in now from the boss. This is his special attack and you can almost ignore it. If you want to rotate raid-wide cooldowns, then try to use them just before his energy bar goes full. This will allow your raid-wide cooldown to also have an effect whilst the boss hits you. So if you're a shaman and you use Spirit Link, then you want to use it now, just before it hits. And if you are a warrior, then try to use Rallying Cry just before, just before the hit comes in. Or you can see right now one of the healers went tank and he's gonna solo soak now. So he's gonna use his cheat death mechanics. You can see it right here if you look at the screen. Then yeah, he died now because he tried to do it twice, but that's still fine. We also said in the chat that he was like a champ for like trying to be a really good team player and taking one for the team and so on. So like people here are friendly and so on. It's not they aren't really like toxic or anything. We're more having fun doing this than anything else. And so now we get to the really fun part. This is like the only fight that I really enjoy in Firelands. This is Ragnaros. So first of all, you can see we have a square, I really can't pronounce that, a square marker and a circle, and we also have a skull. This is for phase 2. And we also noticed that a lot of pugs were like failing a lot. So one way to like mitigate that is to actually use Lost in the second phase and not in the last phase, because the last phase is kind of like the third phase, especially if you have good DPS. Then you might see 1 meteor, you can also see 2, but they aren't too hard to handle. What is hard to handle is the Seeds of Ragnaros in the second phase. First phase, we just tell people to like chill. Just you don't even have to do that much damage. Just watch out for the flame waves that comes, you can see right there on your screen, from the hammer. And then every now and then we're gonna have a magma trap, and we will just ask like a demon hunter or a mage or a warrior or me myself as a paladin to take care of those. And these Sons of Flame, I believe they're called Sons of Flame, yeah. You just want to get them to below 50%, maybe a bit less of course, so they move slower. And that's it. And as a raid leader, once all of the Sons of Flames are about to die, then you want to spam this macro that I'm spamming now. Because this tells people that, oh shit, sorry for the bad word, but oh mother flower, we need to move to one of the sides now, otherwise we can risk killing the raid if we spread out too much. I know that there are different ways of going through with this strat, but it tends to be easier if people can like see what's going on, because some people might even get hit by like magma flames and so on. Now once you see these seeds coming in, then you want to spam the macro like move to skull, pop Lost, because this will allow us to now penetrate to the next phase really quickly. And if people are standing inside of the AoE healing, then they should be able to survive most of the stuff happening right now. You obviously don't want to stand in fire in this fight. But yeah, also you can notice that all of the healers are dead. The last healer remaining is actually in tank spec right now, so we don't have a healer alive. That is quite common for Pugs as well. So, but I mean, if you are an experienced tank, you really should not be needing a healer for this fight. I usually solo tank this. We did 30 kills on Ragnaros. We had 0 wipes on Ragnaros. We did, however, have a wipe or 2 on Rhyolith. No, we also had 1 wipe on Ragnaros. But out of 30 attempts with sometimes not even no healer present, then that is a pretty good statistics. Yeah, so this is the last phase, and you can check the HP on the boss. There is like no high DPS requirements for this. All you really have to worry about is avoiding fire. So if you're in doubt about what to do, just relax and avoid the fire, and you will be more than fine for this fight.